from all places, from nothing to signing his first pro contract. So it creates the belief. You've walked on glass and you realize, wow, I can do it again. I can do it again.
Yeah.
You just need that one win, build another win, and it's about habits. So the whole philosophy is built around Gandhi's quote. It says everything starts with a belief. That becomes our thoughts, that becomes our words, that leads to our actions, becomes our habits. Our habits is important. And what is our values? And that ultimately creates our destiny. So here's 3 values that you need when you do this. Is one, you have to be courage. You have to be courageous, right? You had courage to take over that. When you walked it created a sense of freedom. Am I right?
Yes,
it's like,
totally.
And then thirdly is when you do these things over a period of time, you leave a legacy. Because like what you are doing on the radio, you're actually impacting listeners and other people with the stories you share. So you're actually leaving your mark. And that is the power of what I do. And through this journey, I've met Diana. And that it's inspired her, and look at the impact she's now having on other people by using the same tools as well.
It's fantastic what you do. It's really empowering and it's very powerful. And I just wish all our listeners were in studio to be able to experience this. So can you talk to me about how you use these skills in your day-to-day life to overcome obstacles and some of the major obstacles that you've both been able to overcome? We know about your story, Cobus, with Kilimanjaro, and it's all in your book. But Diana, let me ask you about your obstacles in your day-to-day life and how you use these skills, the ability to be able to walk seamlessly on glass, to walk on fire that you've done so many times already in the past, to do all these incredible challenges, how you make it work for you in your day-to-day life.
If you look at my computer screen, I've got a little sticker that I've put on there where I can see it all the time. It says, I'm a firewalker, because it reminds me that being able to walk over fire, I can do anything that I set my mind to. And I'm just human, so we dip as well. We forget about these things. And that's why I've put it on my computer screen where I can see it all the time. And it's little reminders like that that we also need in our life as well, because we can easily get carried away with all the negativity in the world and forget our journey. Where are we going to move towards? And one word can bring you back. Firewalker, it brings me back. So would I like to walk on fire every day? If I have the opportunity, absolutely. But it is quite a mission to make the fire and to prepare everything. Right. So no, only when there are events do I walk over fire. And yes, I've done 268 walks, not as many as Cobus to date. So yes, my glass walk, however, I do have at home. And whenever I feel the need, I take it out and I just center myself and walk over the glass again. And no, I can do it.
It's amazing what you do. Cobus, what reaction do you get from members of the public, just the ordinary man in the street, woman in the street who comes and watches a demo and says, I want to try that, maybe to be able to use in my own sporting environment because I'm a sports person and I want to be able to have the belief when I walk onto the court or walk onto the field or in the office or whatever they do in their day-to-day life? How do people react to firstly watching you do it and then realizing they can do it as well?
I think the moment is a lot of people first are fear, right? Oh, what is this? This is crazy. How is this going to impact? It creates all these little voices in our minds, right? So the first thing is I always take people is, let's forget about the fire. Let's forget about glass. What is it you want? What is the goals you want? What do you want to achieve, right? How important is that for you? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get it? Yes. Okay. Now, when we walk on the fire, we connect, we anchor. In NLP, there's something called anchoring. You anchor the fire experience of the celebration through that with the outcome of what you want. So that whenever you face a fire walk in front of you, you remind yourself, you fire that anchor to say, I've been through fire. Now, the glass walk is the opposite. The fire is recharging, is energizing, where the glass walk is more zen.
Yes.
It calms you down. It's
soothing.
It's soothing. It's when you're in a stressful situation, right? It's to remind you, I've walked on glass. What was the process? Breathe, relax, calm down, one step at a time. What's the next step I need to give? And that just the focus. So it's actually tools that is being used in the moment when you need it to remind you of the process that you followed. But the crazy part of when people come is my son was the youngest when he walked, 2 years old. Now imagine this, the parents stand next to it, their kids walk on fire. And then I look at them, why aren't you walking? No, I'm scared of the fire. I'm like, but you just let your kids walk. So we laugh about it. But it is daunting, like you experienced in the beginning. However, when you start doing it, it becomes addictive. It becomes like, what's next? What can I put my mind to it? And there's studies that have shown if you grow your mind through these activities, it can never shrink back. You're constantly, you change your chemistry.
I've got an interesting sporting story about that. When I was on a cruise ship, probably about 11 years ago, we were in Asia, and they had on the cruise ship a rock wall, a rock climbing wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched these youngsters, 6 and 7 years old, climb up that wall without fear, and they got to the top, and I thought to myself, if they can do it, surely I've got more strength, more upper body strength, more leg strength, I can do it as well. And I couldn't get up, and the wind was blowing, and we were out in the open ocean. And I tried and I tried and I failed and I failed and I failed, and I thought, I have to be able to do this. And one day I got up to the top, and just knowing that you can get to the top, thereafter it was easy. The next time there was no doubts in my mind, and I climbed up probably about 100 times on that cruise journey that we had. And it's just a matter of, as you say, taking the first steps. So how would you teach sports people in that environment if they walk onto the field without having the belief that they can win a match or that they can perform well? What would you say to them to be able to anchor in their brain the possibility of opening up thoughts of winning and being successful?
It's about creating that belief, right? It's about creating focus, about creating that moment of how to tap into the Zen moment. So when the Kings were going to play the Sharks, a full stadium in Nelson Mandela Bay, so we had them lined up in the field, and we placed a steel rod on their throat to bend the steel. And the focus of there was to teach them in that moment when the stadium is full and there's sounds and people are screaming, and the only thing is you don't know what to do, it becomes chaos, right? What do you need to do? Focus on your teammate. That's all that you need. I have your back. Do you have my back? Yes. Secondly, when you have your opposition in front of you, all that you have to focus is bend that bar and push him over. And so when we created that, the next day they played against a full Springbok squad in the Sharks. They had all their Springboks in there, and they still won them. The Springbok scrum, it was the first time the Southern Kings pushed their scrum over, because before they did it, we anchored it. It says, guys, it's like bending steel. We are made of steel. That was our calling sign. And then they just pushed them over. And that's what it is. It's anchoring the moments of success with that, and then taking them through the process. Guys, if this happens, right? What is the keywords? Guys, it's like bending steel. Guys, it's like walking on fire. And we fire that, and then people go through the processes. How do we unpack it? What's the check boxes? And then we just execute.
So in terms of a play on the field, relating a walking on glass experience or a walking on fire experience to being able to win a match. Now, I know memory and the mind works with triggers. You have to be able to give yourself triggers and belief systems. So how do you sort of traverse the process, so to speak, of linking what you did successfully in an incredible display on walking on fire or doing something impossible for the mind, and saying, okay, I can translate that to what's happening on the field? So
usually is to come into the field is, how do we, when we have done something that, let's say, scored a try or did an amazing move, right? It's to anchor those moments of creating. It's building small wins that becomes bigger wins over time. Then also going back and using what we call visualization is, what is it you want to achieve? It's like, they've done a study. If you just practice it in your mind, the visualization is the same as doing the exercise in person, right? So it's creating that, what is the game by game play we want to do? So we did a lot of visualizations, a lot of processes, but also what people don't forget is when something happens in a game is, what is our learnings? We never unpack a lens, even if it was a bad move, like Colby's kick,
Yes.
right? I promise you that's never going to happen again, right?
Yeah.
He's learned. Do you think his teammates have learned? Of course, yes, because they are unpacking it. And that's the thing, is we need to learn from our mistakes, but also we need to celebrate our wins.